Okay, so hello guys, it's me Gaming Star here, and today I am back with another episode of the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we had basically started off the adventure of the Clan of Kokoro's investigation, and we did the investigation, and we found out something about the Gyarados and how they had a marital fight. Yeah, fun. And this time we're gonna go ahead and do the trial. So this is a two-part trial. It's not 3 parts, not a 3-4-parter. This one's only a 2-part trial, so it's pretty short. So let's go. Compared to the other trials, the other one's pretty fucking short. So let's get this over with. And that's it. And that's pretty much the end of the case afterwards. So let's get this over with, shall we? 20th of February, 9:23 a.m. The Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. Here we go. Well, I never expected this. It was very fun to be back here having it so soon. We were on a study tour of Great Britain with the intention of the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest country procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but for the person in the dock, it may as well be his or her only time in court, and it could be life-changing. In which case, treating it as research may seem a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! Hey, Natsume. Ah, Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. But I really don't want to catch a worm. I'm so tired of this place. I want to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. And now I'm absolutely exhausted as a result. Do all literally people take things so literally? I don't know, bro. Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives so my future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Hello, welcome student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes? I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. It looked like the opening night of the opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I have no idea. The annoying look on your face is just coincidence then, is it? Don't hide the truth from me! It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Ziegs. Is that right, Miss Susato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Ziegs is on the front page of every one. I knew it. Sometime after the prosecutor was dubbed the Reaper in the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. This for several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Inspector Gregson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Ziegs' return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus the Gilded. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was. Hi, Mario. I believe that appearance made every greater waves here in the capital than today's. And we wouldn't have realized it, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon for what appears to be a mundane murder? Not really. But the question the papers were asking, they were all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane's the most significant stock of century to some of us! Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, at least I forgot the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the reappearance of the infamous prosecutor has caught people's attention, but it's also another blame similar to the trial of 2 days ago. Yes, I agree. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times it is you who stands as the legendary prosecutor against the legendary prosecutor. It can only mean the Reaper, please don't rub shoulders with how to rub shoulders with Deathbringers. But times who stands against the legendary prosecutor can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It can only be another explanation, Mr. Naruhodo, if you're overcome bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck when I'm presented by a man with such frail fortune. But the least lucky lawyer alive! Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London with a little way of experience and skills or luck. But I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end. And I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, blah, blah, welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we'll always be by your side. Oh, beloved non-locum student sister Miss Mikatoba Esquires. I've been your debt forever! I shall never forget this. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Wake to the court kindly at once. Alright then, Mr. Natsume. It's time. Let's go. Yes! Alright, let's go, babies. Let's do this, shall we? Mario, don't... Mario, you're barking at me! This is it. My second appearance in the British courtroom. And my second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. Because this time, I won't let my faith waver. And believe in the client at last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. Just fight. Alright, let's go, babies. Let's get this case over, shall we? I see two familiar faces in there in the jury. And they are for Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare the court to be in session, and I call upon the counsels of the prosecution and defense and declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try to help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Susato-san? After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. I love how he has like the bat. That's so funny to me. Very true. And a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted and his unfortunate violent end. Thank you, counsels. I see both sides are fine fettle. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in court as impartial members of the public? You never know when you might do down your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. You literally all card fair play, so it makes sense. I know your face. You're new. Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. You're also new. Oh well, not me, but you see is what you get. I'm peace loving fellow. I know you! I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that mustache foreigner did the deed. You're new. Come on, we're waiting for. No doubt you did it anyway. You're also new. Eh? Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. There's two familiar faces in here. Very well, let us proceed. They're juries from the last time, and also, you know, one of those. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with the rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsube. And while our country has extended its foreign student the warmest welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime? I'll tell you a better experience. Those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Just look at that shallow complexion, short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Come on, let's get over with me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Oh my god. Pray forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hollow chalice here in this great chamber. Bro, allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please. Alright, hey, Gregsy. Alright, hey, boys. Your name and occupation, please. Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard. Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be? Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure? Comatose. I see. But her life is not in danger. Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray elaborate on details, Inspector. Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at the street map. Okay, here we go. Briar Road, Metro Sam Street, hello. As I mentioned, the incident took place 2 days ago. It was around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road and wide thoroughfare, horse-drawn vehicles. And along the stop snow as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. He's just sweating. Even in this picture, he's sweating. Poor guy. The anxiety is real. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently been treated in one of those city's hospitals. But being unconscious she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file of everything we know about the victim so far. Thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please. Case file. After Valentine will review the case and details of the victim, she was found with a knife in her back, is currently in hospital, yet to regain consciousness. What of the weapon that was used? Sir! I have though here. Removed the victim's back. Ouch, that big thing's starting to get me scared. Walk down the street now. This heavy blade like that, anybody could have been able to stab that poor woman. Even the scrug looking so seki-san, I suppose. It's one of those, like, hunter knives. Common or garden jackknife. Yeah, jackknife. Oh, sorry, rather not the script. I actually have, like, a mini jackknife. That's, like, a keychain. I actually have that from Switzerland, which is really cool. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blazer. I'm surprised they even take it away at the airport, considering I had it with me. I'm surprised. Always consider. I gotta admit, it's a fucking knife. I have a little baby jackknife. I have a little baby jackknife that's, like, from Switzerland. That's, like, you know, a little, like, it's kind of like a little, you know, like a keychain jackknife. I have that. And straight up, I'm surprised. I was in the airport with that thing. And I'm surprised they didn't even take it away from me. It's a fucking knife. I'm surprised they didn't even take it away, obviously considered. A tiny little dull knife, but still I'm surprised they didn't take it away. It's kind of funny, weird. Kind of funny, weird. Now then, what is the motive? Money or valuables, I presume. From what we could look at most possessions, seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine they would have anything much more pinching, my lord. I see. Well, in that case, it looks like some deep-seated resentment toward the victim. I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsume, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't established a sort of connection between him and the victim. Can I raise my hand? A festive grievance has been ruled out as a motive. What reason could Mr. Natsume possibly have for stabbing a young woman? Yet, you arrest the man in spite of that and totally justified in a heavy-handed way. Oh my god. He just threw that damn wine bottle into the public gallery. Oh my god, no. Pray forget this courtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured this hollow bouquet. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? I feel bad for that poor janitor that has to clean that up constantly. God damn. Scotland Yard does not arrest people without a good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest a Nipponese student. Oh my fuck. Yes, sir. God damn, dude. Just toss it into the public gallery. Oh my god, dude. What if a person got hit by that? You have to wonder. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was unusually light fog. I can't stop looking at that. My ability was reasonably good, and their visibility was there. There was no one else but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on the way home from a bookshop, it seems. Oh. It was just a matter of working out whose books belonged to me. Found the bloke and arrested him. Oh, sweet God. Alright. Old books, you say? Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here in the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes, you can see the books which you're referring to. I'll take the photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. A large knife can be seen pressing the victim's back. The Nipponese are a spineless breed. It took Ellie to admit defeat, denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Zeeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Mr. Seto? Do you go on? Mr. Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Nadahara? Well, now that you mention it, when he visited the prison yesterday, he did tell us all that happened. As I was walking along the accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, she suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, harsh slabs of the stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. Green overcoat? Well, that's exactly what the woman in the prey was wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come to next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. This does not mean he's guilty. He's a heinous crime stabbing a woman in the back. There was nobody else at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. In fact, that the accused concedes! Ugh! It seems that the cross-examination can prove to be pivotal, Consul. Proceed, please. Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's the only chance. Let's go! Alright, cross-examination. Here we go. Alright. Statement number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4... There's 6 statements? What books to be exact? The defendant apparently visited a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand. A shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused for the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. You can tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Well, if I must. If I test the street map again, I'm afraid. Alright. Bourbon Books. The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is a place here called Bourbon Books. A little place on the corner of Bryan Road and Metrostown Street. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. As it happens, the accused is currently living in the lodgings on either side of Bryan Road on the opposite end, which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Yeah, that's true. Something like this. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna need a thank you, Gregson. Thank you, Gregsy. Yes, I could concur to the conclusion, Inspector. The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home to a particular shop. Mr. Naruhodo. I think that the Inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point the Inspector just made is the bookshop's name. Inspector Gregson, may I ask a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe? Oh, well, yeah, I mean, yes! It could be a very important clue! Very well. Well, I can see very significance, but please provide your testimony accordingly, Inspector. Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could that man be any more sardonic? I don't know what that word means. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the... He was on his way home from Bourbon Books, a second-hand bookshop he apparently patronizes. So if we go over to the receipt, the second-hand book receipt, let's check this baby out. Your books? A different book. Alright. Customer Mr. Natsume, the sum of 2 shillings, tendered the receipt of the picture of Monsieur Lecoq. Lecoq or Lecoq, I don't know. A meal for Gabre and Canterbury Yarnings. I have no idea what these books are, so I don't know anything about English literature, so I can't say much, so I don't know. If someone could tell me, please tell me, because I don't know. 4:45 p.m. So it's a different bookstore. It's definitely not Bourbon Books. Yeah, it's a different book.
Objection.
It's a different book. Store. If you could just please stop there, Inspector Gregson. What is this, sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details purchases 3 second-hand books. And you found it in the accused's room, did you? Yes, but the point is, when the receipt was found, the name of the shop was printed on. Go on. This receipt was issued from the bookshop called Your Books. Your Books? I presume. Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a second-hand bookshop that day. However, this bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. Huh? What? Inspector, did you know of the other bookshop? Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand shop not far from the Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place. I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection.
Objection! But in fact, that is the bookshop the defendant visited in the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection.
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. I disagree. I mean, after all, I have a secret map right here if you need help. Oh, yes, thank you. I have a look at this place. Where is it? If the defendant had been returned for Bourbon Books, then yes, he would have most certainly have passed the place where Mr. Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually in another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out he wouldn't have passed the location at all. Could that be true? My, rather depends on where the other bookshop is, but I clearly made a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? You just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Inspector Gregson, where's the Your Books establishment? Well, obviously we looked into that. Where is it at? It turns out that Your Books is on the other side! It's right here next corner of Mersham Street going east. The Calabash Road. So that's where it's located. Okay. And there you have it. You can clearly see now. Oh. Where did you get that other wine bottle from, Doctor? My learned Nipponese friend is obviously trained to be a clown the way he regales in such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. Ah, there's the meme. There's the meme. You put the glass down or I'll put it on for you. I don't think I need to spell it out, but here we go. Oh boy. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon, it would have been a much longer road. There is no doubt he would have still passed the place where the victim was stabbed. That's true, but he also could have taken a different route. Yes, thank you, Inspector. Ugh! Allow me to reiterate my learned, if somewhat slow Nipponese friend. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in your final analysis. Yeah! I suspected you can fool me. I don't suggest you try. What did you say? Yeah, no, what of this now? I beg your pardon. Terribly sorry, but what would you mind repeating that? Mr. Nadahodo, you must give up. What? What do you mean? If the prosecution's assertion is correct, the members of the jury may well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty. Which is absolutely right. We must think. We consider the assertion was put forward prosecution very, very carefully. They claim Soskaki-san had passed through the location, the incident his way home from Your Books, but raise an objection. The assertion is made by prosecution is fundamentally flawed. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean by this map. When returned from Your Books and his lodgings, he could have taken an entirely different route. Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, the only conceivable route it takes between two places is the other way around. He could have taken two different routes. There's two different versions. Depending on these streets, look what happens. He arrives back into the lodgings without passing the location the victim was attacked. Well, he's technically still could have passed it. I don't know. Talking back to the clan is full errands, of course. However, I feel compelled to point that out. That route is what's commonly referred to as Long Way Road. On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer road home? That's true. Well, the answer is extremely simple. You wouldn't, in other words. The accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and the obvious perpetrator of the crime. But, aha! Yes, I've got it. Obviously, we must ask the man himself, Mr. Natsume, which route he took home. I have already informed the court of the accused's response to the questioning. He claims that he has no recollection. Ah, that's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! Yeah, we're fucked. We're gonna have to do a jury examination. I thank you, my learned friend, and suggested that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around the subject. Pray, what you say in this faithful jurors? Oh, sweet God. But even if that was the case, the defense still... Oh. I agree with Lord Van Zeeks wholeheartedly in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean the members of the jury are completely convinced now? Oh my goodness. Very well. In that case, I hereby call upon members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
Oh.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Ah! But yeah! Oh! God. You're trying to murder me. Would appear at your reasonings anonymous. Anonymous. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve Queen of the country admirably. Mr. Nadahoda? No, not yet. This isn't over yet. I still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. I have to tip the balance of the scales the other way. Have to Besides the query, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. Rights of the defense written in the antiquated British law that should have been buried long ago. I call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative to carry out the summonation examination if it chooses. Very well, counsel. In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed to summonation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman? Of course we're ready. I'm all familiar with the Nipponese whippersnapper and his Okusa refuses to throw in his ally. Very well then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will explain each on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Judicial findings. Here we go. The jury's gonna just... For pity's sake, the little Nipponese oddity already admitted it himself, didn't he? No. If he said that when a woman in green collapsed before his eyes, it could only have been the victim. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, not in winter. So the poor woman was attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I've got work to do. Your books, yes. Nice shop, that. Bourbon books? Not worth it, is it? With only one exception, so I can find the defendant guilty is all too clear. When the stabbing occurred, only two people at the scene were the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in a green overcoat stick the ground before his eyes. Furthermore, we've heard the defendant. I must say, we've already ample grounds to convict this man already. Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced Mr. Smith's guilt now. Oh, when I run away like that, I was supposed to believe it's some phantom attacker that nobody could see. This is impossible. How can I possibly make the case for defense? Mr. Netta, hold on. It's no time for failing. Now we've forced the trial to continue. Yes, I know. We have to turn the tide. If the jurors change their minds. Well, four of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. You have the floor, counsel. Begin your summonation examination. Yes, my lord. I just need to keep this trial going somehow. Whatever it takes. Come on, Inosuke. You can do it. Jury examination. Here we go. Pit 6. The Penny's oddity was already minute. Nope. Let's go to 5. The 5th juror. Your books I shop at. Bourbon books. Is it? Can you explain more, please? Hold it! Because it's not exactly best. Please explain more. I'm sorry. Fold it? Did you say? Fold what? No. What I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often? I like the old books that they say in there. Yes, I enjoy reading them over the next couple of weeks. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. At the same time, you visit your books in the day in question? Well, I was picking out books in the afternoon, and I would have been just before 5. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about. Just before 5, you say, exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about that time? Yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget a day in a hurry, not after a dreadful time I had. What do you mean? Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped in the ice and donked my head! And always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it was all slippery. I knocked myself back clean out. That was really bad. The number was up. Wait a minute. Let me just get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road. That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see. Heading down the Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back to your books. Juror number 6, I must insist that you add the information to your formal testimony. It may well be significant. Sorry? Extremely sick? No, I'm worried. It says shivers down my spine here. The members of the jury so convinced Mr. Smith's guilt. But I can't help feeling some of their opinions are rather subjective. Yeah, that's true. I agree. It's irrelevant of what someone ever saying. It says shiver down my spine. Still, at least sound of search is not exactly incriminating Mr. Smith. I think that's something. Most of their answers to how cunningly. Yes, you're right. Let's let the jurors again carefully. When the assertions are odd, I'll put them against each other. It's a whole back and we'll put them all against each other. Let's go ahead and pit number 3 and 5 against each other. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back to the bookshop, not in winter. And number 5. 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and press juror number 5. Let's see, I don't care. Can we wrap this up already? I've been working on this. Let's go ahead and press number 5.
Hold it!
Do you want to tell me more things? A man's life is on the line here, so we take as long as it takes. I don't clever with me now, son. My life's on the line too, so is my family's. The likes of you wouldn't understand. Labor like me can't afford to take time off. I don't work, I don't need a wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I go on the union every morning and find out what he needs to do when his late work is tough. This time of the year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left and right and center. They're after cheap labor and get the roads dug up fixed as hard as slogged on till dusk. So, you were digging out the roads the day and dates as well, were you? That's right. In fact, if I remember rightly, I was in the real corner where it all happened, the old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence? That's right, Mershakov Street it was. Merkisham Street. On the map, Mr. Hood, there's only 3 named streets. Juror number 5, I need your information in your formal statement, please. What's the point then? Can you just get the business over with now? Please, sir, it's so important. Fine, I'll do it then. On the day it happened, I was digging in Mershakov Street and dawn till dusk. So let me see. Let's go to number 3. The man would have gone around the houses on his way back around the bookshop, not in winter. Let's pit number 3 against number 5. At the date it happened, I was digging in Mershakov Street from dawn till dusk. So let's pit them against each other. And objection! These two statements clearly at odds with one another. The odds, Consul. Explain yourself. Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. Hey, what? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3. Oh, me, sir? What? What do you mean? Juror number 5's words are just now extremely significant. Let's take the moment to consider the implications of what's been said in our map of the local area. Walk-in. On the day in question, Mr. Announcement visited the bookshop and purchased a number of second-hand books. On the same day, we now know there was works being carried out on the Merkisham Street, making it impassable, which means that the defendant's route home was blocked. Could not have been taken along the Merkisham Street and down Briar Road. Oh, no, yes, of course. What do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? You must have had a good 2 yards more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is, the defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose I must be right, eh? True number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back to the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, may I say? Yes. I don't think it's like a conscience why I can't say a man's guilty now. Yes, I like to try to continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Using fire is kind of deadly, isn't it? But okay, we keep sorry. What about you, sir? Hey, ooh, me. Well, all right then. If there's a hole in the prosecutor's argument, I'm gonna be filled with what I say. Thank you. Almost. Oh, well done, Mr. Nudo. That was wonderful. Well, we managed to change a couple of minds, at least change the position somewhat. Just impromptu, our Mr. Jury stance as well. We'll be asking ourselves if currently is really not right or not. Now, if only we could identify one more confiscate Mr. Matsuno. We might be able to just tip the balance completely. Yes, exactly what we gotta do. Van Zeeks is looking at bringing trial to a conclusion. Thus, we have to prevent whatever means we have disposal. Thank you, counsel. Someone to examination, please. Yes, my lord. Alright. So you already pressed juror number 6's statement. So juror number 6. We already pressed juror number 6. I slept over the evening myself on Calabash Road. I knocked myself clean out, you know. Whenever I was digging a rose, digging a tree. If you see, you go through it again, haven't you? So I slept that eating myself at Calabash Road. I knocked myself clean out, you know. Let's go ahead and pit number 6 and number 2 together, which is, if he said that a woman in green class before his eyes, why can it only have been the victim? I slept over the evening myself in a Calabash Road. I knocked myself clean out, you know.
Objection.
They see contradiction each other. These statements clearly the flaw in the juror's reasoning. A flaw? What are you talking about? Well, juror number 2 and juror number 6. My, whatever do you mean, sir? If you guys can hear that, I live near an Air Force base, so you guys can hear the plane. Yeah, that's a plane going over my house. If you guys can hear that, I'm sorry. It's very loud. I think perhaps the old man didn't hear it. I believe a board. There is at least one fact that we be sure of here. The bookshop receipt found in the defendant's rooms clearly indicates that the day of the attack, he had been in York books and purchased a number of second-hand titles, and he returned home on foot. But the man says he had a recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what if he does remember seeing someone appear in front of him on the way? Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed and paid before his eyes. Yes, we were all aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously. But what if it's another man? Can we really be sure of that? Whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard your number 6 exact count of what happened to him that day. The same afternoon, somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and fell over the icy streets of the neighborhood. Oh my. My goodness, you mean? That's right. I'm referring, of course, to juror number 6. The hard hearing of juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat from the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was the jolly old gentleman at the end of the bench here with me today? That entirely possible. Yes. After all, the old man has somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that. My goodness me. Sorry, you need to pee? And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, the person who saw Mr. Smith collapsing in front of him in factory number 6, it means the defendant must have taken a long road back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly the crime scene, the Briar Road where the woman was stabbed, was not on his way home. Oh my. But what about the books? You idiot old man! You haven't been so daft a woman there by the books of 5 hours ago! And really, what are you thinking wearing such a befuddling coat? What did you say about me? It's crime the elderly walk the streets these days and crime to slip over on ice? It's crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but you would like to change your leaning, I presume? I do declare that I would. I should like to go on verdict for not guilty. Thank you. And I would too. What? Is it a crime to change your mind, is it? Well! Why is it with these old people that can't even hear being part of the court? Tell me! Well, that examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. And Ace 2, the noes 4, and the noes have it not guilty, they say. Which means we no longer have consensus among the jury members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Objection!
Could it seem churlish of me to drink from my hollow chalice moments after raising an objection? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks? It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I mistakenly credited as jurors of the intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet today I was just witness them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Eh? Whatever do you mean? I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I said is the truth. Indeed. Still a word to juror number 5 has undoubtedly repaired the road, as it claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement, which could have exceeded this, sir. That's right. It took me a whole day to pay me the immensely 2 pence for that. Now, my learned Nipponese friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue. No. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, a distance readily valid by anyone with moderate vigor. Would not you agree, my stalwart friend? Eh? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you not pretense to erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing aside to your works? Eh? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have gone to hope of passing anyway. It was turning any gentlefolk back when they came. Kids jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over 2 yard range of railings around town. Ah! Is that true? Is it? The incomfortable truth is that the books just purchased the accused were found at the scene. There could be no doubt that his way back home to lodging, Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Crushed in a single sentence. And, old man. Old man, you can talk? You say that on around 5 o'clock in the day in question, you slipped and fell into Calabash Road. Pray, was there suspicious looking Nipponese behind you at the time? Oh, I can't say I remember. You don't remember! How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was an old man the accused saw, but he would lay 1,000 to 1. Against you being able to prove it. Yeah! on! Love antiques, explain yourself! My lord, if you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not perform during the summarization examination? I wanted to give this young foreigner student a sightseeing experience he had no doubt came for. I wanted him for himself. Now the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. What are you talking about? My lord! The prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand. Granted. Bailiff, bring forth the witnesses! It's the next witnesses? Mr. Naruhodo, do you not remember? We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses on the incident. Yes, I remember. One of them being, I'm afraid, is likely the prosecution's next witness. The Bobby, one of them is Bobby. Alright, no matter if his experience to stand as witness, no matter what they say, I believe it's Saki's son. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Here we go. Witnesses, please state your names and occupation for the court. You gotta break the man's neck! Constable Royally Bates, sir. Nothing to report on the streets, sir. I like how it's like Royal Beat. And I'm Miss Beat. Mrs. Beat. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say a young town's hero's wife. What's the story here? I like how it's the pun on like the whole, like, you know. Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. Oh, congrats. No, it was the husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. With us being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Indeed, apart from rare days off, our gallant officers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses, pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check the meters are reading true. Then they're responsible for keeping the streets clean and lighting the extinguisher street lights. There are a number of items in the list that doesn't sound like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet, I would have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that a policeman's primary duty is apprehension of criminals. Even with his off-duty, a constable is accepted to investigate and resolve any crime in his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, the man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction, and they witnessed the incident as it occurred. It's not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat. That's right, sir. Isn't it, Raleigh? Constable Raleigh Beat, sir. Nothing to report on the streets, sir. What a great witness he's going to be. Great. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw in the afternoon of the incident. Yes, sir! That man's gonna collapse on the floor because he's so tired. God damn. What the witness saw. It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog in the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. It was straight over, of course, and we went for help in a nearby police box. It was definitely the Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day. Well, extremely compelling testimony, I must say. Oh dear, this policewoman and his wife claiming to have possibly identified Mr. Nelson at the scene. Is their testimony true? The alternative course of events he established association will be quashed. This death knell, in fact, because the alternative was never viable in the first place. What unfortunate benching in your wedding anniversary, too. Oh, I know. But I still managed to look out at the evening with my man. I thank the Lord for that. Oh, gosh, the life of London's Bobby sounds very hard indeed. Indeed, however, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. You may have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend, the witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that is without a doubt the accused, Mrs. Saki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure. Except the man's so tired his wife has to do all the talking. Enough preamble. Counsel for defense, commence with cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Alright. So we have to press all her statements, and then we can get moving information. So let's press all her statements. All 5. Let's press all of them. No time to change after work, you say. So you also remember the police, Mrs. Beat. Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. Well, I think you probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Rolly looks ever so handsome in his uniform. It suits you onto the ground, doesn't it, darling? What? I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading down to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Raleigh, I much prefer your uniform. Sometimes I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you finished your beat for the day, correct? That's right, sir. Yes, although I was fit to drop, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. The policing is my life, sir. As long as I'm proud owner of this, I'll serve the city of my queen to the end. What's that now? My warrant card, sir. Proof of my London Cooper. Those noble founding principles of the force written on it. A reminder of all policemen to sworn duty. Forget news as evidence. Patrol streets of London down to uphold the peace of common man. Sir! And for such noble cause I cover 20 miles every single day without fail, without a gumble. Because I know that the plotting of my boots is all Londoners need to hear. Feel safe, secure. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then. But, sir, just one particular day I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up a lot of being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. Oh, Pat. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. Aw, what a charming couple. Their young lives such beautiful behold. It's a little over the top, perhaps. I can see it was over the top. And then, can I describe what happened next? Let's press hold statements, and we get more information. 2 silhouettes appeared. 2 silhouettes. That's right. They were coming up towards walking a Briar Road in opposite direction. The poor man just wants to drop dead. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. Does that sound exactly like the victim picture in the print, like Mr. Nelson? Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certainly a time there was nobody else nearby? Oh yes, quite certainly. It was dark, but there were streetlights in the Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling? What? Ah, yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground. The Briar Road was dead straight, and you could see a fairly long way on the pavement. And then there's street lighting as well. Let me see if anything other than pedestrians. Before sleep takes a firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you just said? Yes, sir. As a cop, I would spend all every day keep watch over the streets. I swear to it, sir. As I'm sure. As I left for Patricia, it's true. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. They're still maintaining that there was no one else around the victim of the attacker. I'm starting to see this because it really happened. I'm begging to begin, there's someone nowhere to run. Well, they didn't stop Mr. Russell, did it? He fled the scene too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have the reasonably clear idea of the situation. For the incident, people were happy to Christian Lumps has followed. Let's hold it again. Scattered something. What do you mean by that? Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? Just breaking his fucking neck, dude. Huh? What? Ah, yes, that's right. It was some old books. I see, old books. Libros, books. Yes, sir. The culprit was dropped, number of them, all around the victim laying the pavement. Indeed. Certainly picturing the photographic print. The wrong Japanese man did what he did indeed. Let's not forget that it remains established that the defendant was indeed the attacker. But we saw him. It was the man in the dock without question, sir. The mustache, the hunched back, the cat-like eyes, the tout mouth, the snub nose. Everything! Any more insults you want to throw in? That's right, he looked down to that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying intense eyes. And then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away. I see. It's tough to say they're telling the truth there. May I remind the court that ambiguous testimony comes to the policeman and his wife? Now please, continue. Yes, sir. That's gonna fall asleep.
Hold it!
Keep it up. Was it your husband who went to fetch help? No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am a proud wife of one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? Good God. You can actually hear the God. What? Ah, yes, that's right. I asked if Mrs. Beat to go. I was off duty at that point. But Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene. Very laudable, Mr. Beat, preserving the scene of the crime, since it has considerable importance. That's why I sent Patricia, you see. I told her we'd find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on the crime's location, you see, so who deals with it? Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia the way of the police box for the beat the incident fell under, so she could go. Report it. I ran there as quickly as I could to ask her help and Bobby on duty. There is nothing more important than the young couple in love working together, you know. And thanks to your swift response, the case is quickly resolved. The actions of 2 model citizens. Oh, please, you're making us blush, isn't he, darling? Yes, sir. What Patricia said, sir. Let's move on, shall we? Last test statement.
Hold it!
But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light gas street lamps, would you? We absolutely could! Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, as you'll have no... Right. The light from the street lamps were more than enough. But my husband already told you the fog was only light, didn't he? Yes, and what of the fog? We're famous for it across the globe, I believe. Yes, that is true. The absolute menace of those who have to live with it, of course. Oh, it is. Well, feck, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm. Yeah, I've heard of it. Obviously, it's very well known, but I've never actually been there myself. And in Spain, it's the complete opposite. And in Spain, is the complete opposite. Spain is known for its extreme sunlight. Spain is the complete opposite for its extreme fucking sunlight. It's complete total opposite. Like in Spain, you straight up go like, ah, my eyes. It's just like, ah, fuck my eyes. Like, it's just the sun just comes shining on your face. Like extremely. It goes, ah, fuck my eyeballs. I coño mío. It just hurts. I find it funny how London and Spain has some similarities, but it's opposites. I find it really funny though. Alright, take your point, but stop shaking your husband now. The constant fog is very sharp, you see. Think why you get sure certain that is a little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling? What? Ah, yes. It was accused and no mistake. The mustache, the hunchback cat-like eyes, the snub nose. Unmistakable, sir! As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, that can't be any question. It was Soseki-san that ran out of the scene of the crime. So that's it then? This is the entire testimony? What do you think, Mr. Nadahodo? Well, I hate to admit it, but hearing the testimony, it really does seem like this was Beat saw what he really saw. Just been running away from the scene probably right about there. Yes, I feel the same. Since that's true, where does this leave us? The members of the jury should call for guilty right at the testimony. Oh no, then what do we do? Someone said we're here. What are you trying to say? I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else in your testimony. What do you mean somewhere else? Your statement about seeing Mr. Hanson is equivocal, calling into question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of the testimony that appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them to make the jury doubt it appears memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, but focus on finding a discrepancy in the statement somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and favorable conclusion. Why do I always need to go up against it? Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask something? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? Well, you keep asking us questions about everything we told you, so... It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right, is it? Well, out with it! What? No. Oh, no, it's really not that at all. My husband's a policeman, remember, and I know what I saw. I remember every last detail, everything, like... Oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? I could tell you the names of every single one. I could. Every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is? Please stop pulling your husband. That will do, Miss B. No, it won't do at all, Mrs. B. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. If I decide to forgive him insulting us, I don't think for a minute that Raleigh will. I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down. But perhaps you would like the opportunity to supplement your testimony. Might that appease you? Oh, thank you, my lord. That will settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling? Let's see. I could tell you the name of the 4 books that he dropped at the scene. 4. But there's only 3 in the picture. Unless...
Objection!
Objection! So you're saying that there were 4 books? That's right. I remember all of them. The picture of the monster somebody, what's a yearnings, a meal for someone, and the thing gives something. I'm sorry, Mrs. B. But there's a fundamental flaw in the statement of yours. Oh no, what flaw? To get it over with. Simply at the scene of the crime, there was only 3 books, not 4! What? But isn't she technically holding the other book in her hands? But look at the photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see, there's only 3 books. But no, that can't be. I saw them. Oh, I know what it is. Yes, you can't fool me. Sorry. There's a big lump of dead body. The lady so large, her corpse is blocking the view of the 4th book, that's all. Let's try to remember that the poor woman isn't dead, even if we're insulting her size. No, I'm sorry, Mrs. B. But Mr. Matsui could not possibly have dropped the 4 books you described. Why not? Fascinating. And from your assured tone, something you can readily substitute with evidence, I presume. Ah, evidence. Counsel, you present evidence of what your claim, we'll draw it. Prove the accused did not drop the 4 books. Picture of the Monster Lecco, a meal of Gardener, and Cranberry Yearnings. So there was only 3 books in total, but the 4th book, he only actually got 3 books. Okay, so... Take that! There we go. The evidence is right here, in the form of this bookshop receipt. From your books. Yes, this receipt details Mr. Nesbitt's purchases that day, but as you can see, only 3 books are listed. No! Therefore, Mr. Nesbitt would have only dropped 3 books at the scene of the crime, not 4. The 4th was somebody else's, which means that the powers of observation, madam, cannot be relied upon. So it cannot be denied that though you may say it was a defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh no. Oh no. No!
Objection!
It's plainly evident. That is your powers of deduction that cannot be relied upon, my little Nipponese friend. What? What cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. The fact that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. Ah! So you've striven to avert detection from that did some consequential discrepancies. Will that be fair? I'm sorry, true. But your plan has somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect. Oh! You see, the matter is not up for debate. The scene of Briar Road, a total of 4 books are most definitely found, but he only ordered 3. But what about the photographic print? There's only 3 in total. This shows 3. Quite right, only 3 can be seen in that print. Yeah, there's a 4th book. The 4th book is actually held by her. She held the 4th. The print. You mean to say she? Allow me to present the other one that allows the victim's hand. I don't believe it. The Lion's Pride, it says. It's kind of burnt. Does that look familiar to you? It's the 4th book. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. No! Oh, there, you see? You see? Look at that. Look, look, look. Yes. It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? Yes, sir. Patricia's always right, sir. Let us study the receipt of the books purchased by the accused day in question. There's only 3. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please. Oh, yes, of course. The picture of Monasu or somebody or other. The picture of Monasu or Lekog. What's the yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for a Garbador, in fact. As the court has heard, the witness remembers the book's titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Raleigh? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, sir. Flawless, sir. Patricia's flawless. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly, the 4th book is that which shown as the photographic print. I'm sorry, counsel, but that still seems odd. Why should a 4th book be omitted from the receipt? Yeah, that's true. It's strange. It's not odd at all, my lord. As the photographic clearly shows, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim? Holding her own book? I wonder, what became of the 4th book? Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by investigating officer Scotland Yard. If it's here, evidence. We're gonna have to check that out real quick. Let's check that out. You've also met that information, police court counsel. My pleasure, my lord. The 2nd crime scene photograph and the 4th book was entitled Lion's Pride. That sounds very familiar. The prosecution rests this case. All right, let's go and check this book out real quick. Ooh, yeah, it burnt. Oh, look at this. The book is badly burnt. You're right. You'll never be able to read this today, especially in the latter pages. What a terrible waste. Judging from the square touches of the paper, I think the damage has occurred recently. Book recently damaged by fire. Why does that seem to raise a red flag for me? The Lion's Pride. That's a very familiar title. Let me see. It's from Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know English literature at all, so it wouldn't have heard. Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride. That's strange. I think I've heard of it. It's a title recognized too. Hold on. Strangely familiar, isn't it? So it's burnt. We did see it already in the picture, but we see it now more clearly. Prosecution rest. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised by the learned friend, but your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The scripture shows longer runs the accused's logic that you tried to establish your summation examination, and the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You see, everything I've said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? You're cracking his neck? Yes, Pat. Marry me, Pat. So, you're married? So perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? I have the idea of who the book's owner is. Rather than seeing all the evidence. I have an idea on who it is. I have a clue. France Miles runs course. Mr. Nadahodo, I'm afraid we are terribly close to this prescription. I know, but what if I fight back the wrong way? I could very well see the next side worse. Think, needles get think. What do you do now? Raise an objection!
Objection!
I'm not done yet! Now, my learned friend, it's over. The last examination, the final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There is no more room for debate. Well, it might be a far as you concern, but... Oh, I can't wait to take it to say! If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Your insignificant little Eastern Isles is a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have audacity to intervene at a moment like this. Oh. I am, to my shame, still very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential to her opinions is invaluable. Mr. Nadahodo. One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance, so the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Seto, please. Very well. Pray, what insights can you give us? What have we overlooked in this matter? You see if it's further. Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination is finished. I see. And you believe the new evidence warrants further examination, do you? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? Just possible the new evidence might be the source of proof we're waiting for. The judge has asked the members of the jury to announce their leanings at the moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain which piece of evidence and why. So let's take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence. I already did. Yes, I understand. Thank you, Mr. Sato. This is it. So I managed to win one last chance here. I can't let this go to waste. The defense wishes to present its evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into the case and hitherto been overlooked. Has hitherto been overlooked? The book!
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we see from the presented photographic prints of the crime scene. And the book. The fourth book found in the victim's hands. We have already discussed the fourth book at length, not really. Other than it being the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further with flaring 8 ways to the court's time was what you well know. Yes, I'm afraid counsel must concur with the prosecution in this matter. But I've found this opportunity. You led the court to believe there's evidence of contact with got a clue. So I must insist you elaborate, counsel. You identified this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid the examination of the evidence, which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, you might think me right. It's burnt. Very well, counsel. Precise about a clue in this case, which is what it conceals.
Got it!
I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's burnt to a crisp! So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching a nearly unreadable book? It is undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing. That is pretty true.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? But what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh! We're to concede to the point if it bears a relation to the case. There is nothing to discuss. So, should you assert to fire damages some veiled clues that happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? There's just one possibility here, which I can't bring myself to rule out. A charred book. It's outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting longer than counsel explain the theory of yours. It's suggesting the certain from the fire damage the sorry tomb has suffered. Its owner, its content, the shop that sold it, its owner. My lord, the burn in the back of this real startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon? But we already know who the book belongs to. No, you don't, really. The victim was gripping it with her hand. She fell to the floor. It was obviously hers. No. The question of how this book came to be the victim's hands yet to be answered. However, as to the questions that the book really belongs to or originated, the defense has a very credible answers. Good gracious, how can you possibly? Oh, very well, I'll put up with this futile, totally irremediable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes away. Counsel, the defense response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court of its claim to owner this burned book. It's either John or Joan, doesn't really matter. The only injury means is confined to the chair most of the time. John Garrett. The Garretts own this book. The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who owns the house the defendant is his lodgings. A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. Landlords! And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know. But, of all people in London, what are the 6 chosen jury in the courtroom today? Is none other than Mrs. Garrett herself. Oh my goodness. Me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrett's wife. I'm his maid. Thanks. It'd be much easier if you just drop the pretense. Alright then. How about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrett's house? I would never presume I know all the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicit this hard-working member of the public to be brushed have shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable! This is not a mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed in the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. Gertiff's house. Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel? Marital problems! A fire, my lord. Afraid to say it was. Happened in a blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is I lost my favorite book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride. By Jove, the very same title subject as this debate. Oh dear me.
Objection!
This is irreasonable. You've told the court that the book of the same name was involved in the fire, in which case it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself from the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Gerardep was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Gerardep even amid the flames. Oh, how awful. I can't imagine being so horrid to one you love, can you, Raleigh? Absolutely not, sir. But Patricia and I would never raise a finger against me, sir. Yeah, it's pretty ugly. Favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. And the fight started hurling things at me! Where was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire? Hold on. Okay, I'm back, so sorry about that. I'm back. Cass was eating. Now, let's get this back, shall we? The man had his back up against the window and he had burning books thrown at him. Goodness gracious, are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident. And there's no reports of Gerardep's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Gerardep household. It's visible the window was open at the time and not even remotely. Let's not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. Mario, shut up. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of a winter. Does the defense postulate the scenario in all seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim the book is found in a seamless flame projectile thrown by Mr. Gerardep's wife? Yes! I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough! Who? Oh, of course it's you. Well, I hope that everyone can see what you are now, you little foreign trickster! Of course, I'm a lawyer, but you're just a coward, a mean coward! Really? Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood alight, honestly? Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? Something of a beastly case, none of it. Oh, you does sully our family's name. No, I assure you that it was never my intention. Dragging upstanding student's name through the mud simply to divert attention from the failing defense. Did you just slap the poor man on the side? After bucks years of it should do is unreally forgivable. Too right. Here we go again. How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is the little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran off with the scene too. I did declare you're right. Oh my god, you guys are so stupid! It's true. Yes, what did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry, what's that? Oh, I'm gonna kill all of you. Well, it would appear the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zieks? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been necessarily protected proceedings, but then we must exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been— Oh! And books are your perdition, my learned friend. Study them at your own time. Damn, the wine leg combo is a terrifying combination nobody wants to mess with. Boy. What? Don't forget the discourtesy this time? In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defense capability of the court to hear.
Guilty. 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 Guilty.
Yeah! You guys are, Thank you for your ambiguous response. That's twice now! It's over! Mr. Naruto, don't give up. Mr. Sato, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting. Of course, the defense has the right to no examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. Battery! Still have one more chance. Find the battery, please. My lord, the defense has exercised its right to examination. You believe you still have the tricks up your sleeve. I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. There's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I still have to stay strong and determined. Let's go. Alright. Here we go. Let's start the second half of the trial. Shall we? Part 2. So, let's get this over with. God damn it! I have considered the defense's counsel request for determination of the jury, and I have determined the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, we now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I will ask you once again the grounds on which you defended guilty of this crime. Oh, great. Here we go again. Judicial findings. The juror's contentions. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct It was burning? And you know how fire can hurt, lady? Do you not know that it was on fire? A book that's on fire thrown at someone is, like, not a good thing. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I will be in a tiny bit of trouble. Oh, what do you mean by that? Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Give me the sneezes. Can you explain that? I need some explanation from you, juror number 6. I have considerably more tangible arguments from the members of the jury this around saves. I found a bull section, of course. As always is, my learned student Frail was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimonies. So the court must accept the fact that is indeed the accused was seen fleeing from the scene, and moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Very well, I was correct. It would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. See, it fails anyway. That means I'm afraid during the summation examination, it's essential to establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how do we do a tangible explanation? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman, and how? Those details really need to provide. So they'll give the name of the time was conducted. And I was thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruto, you might have to do it, otherwise this really will be the end of the trial. Oh, no pressure then. Just quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. Proceed, you're prepared, counsel. Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, you just focus your mind now. Let's go. Clearly, the key to summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid, or should I say, Miss Garadeb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the 2. Yes, this is what we have to find, using every technique we learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Miss Garadeb and how she reacts, even to things other people say. Alright, let's do it. We got to press number 6 because he is not exactly being very specific. He never is. Let's go press him again. So number 6. No! Wrong button! I pressed the wrong button. Oops, okay. I pressed A too fast. Let me just do this instead.
Hold it!
Explain. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defense capability in this case? Sorry? What's that? You'll have to speak up, lad. Tell us more about the fire. It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. I had 75 candles on top of it, and it would say to behold it was. You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? Of course not. It was an angel cake. Celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems that it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Nudo. Anyway, I mustered all the puff out to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The finisher caught and everything went up. The whole place full of smoke. Definitely sounds like a devil worship to me. Come on, Mario. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean cold and how you catch a cold from the fire. But a fiasco was the grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me to try to put out the flames. And then because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it. The windows. The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing in my grave. I did. I caught a terrible cold from it. They put me in a hospital for a while. I won't forget my birthday in a hurry. I knew it was devil worship going on. Some of the old man stories playing on for my mind for some reason. That's something important. I mean, that's time to say who apart from Mr. Nutsman could have attacked, or he or she could have done. Yes, once again. Alright. Let's go to number 3. Even if the woman was reading books, it can't really say the crime the window was closed, can it? And then we go to number 6. Pictures number 3 and 6. Winter house fires are dire. You have to open windows to clear the smoke, and it will get chills, you see. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? So put these two together, and there is a contradiction. Objection! Ho ho! Teachers clearly contradicts each other. They do? How exactly, Counsel? Again? What? 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 What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Do you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems that despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of the winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, the room was filled with smoke from fire. I mean, mad people opened it. Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrett household. And Mr. Garrett had the following to say about it. Battery, please! The whole place filled with smoke. Oh my hat! Excuse me. Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Miss Garrett! Oh, dearie me. What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something from the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you and your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon. What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if you did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy, since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battery. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course. I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have added Mr. Garrett's full statement. And press juror number 5. Look, we just get this over with and be tied in trouble. Can you explain more about this? Come on, Mario. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? The man's future is at stake here. Come on, Mario. Well, him and me both, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies for me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the flames tomorrow morning. Oh, no. What? You heard me. My missus isn't one the best about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you and me. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. Wasn't with marital problems in this case. Especially like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, What? Do you know? It's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder, Mr. B never dragged on the thieves' scarf. Don't even go there, Mr. Sato. There must have been some way to jog his memory about this. Now you mention it, the window was open at the time. I'd clean forgotten, but it's true. So let's pursue number 4 again. Let's press her again.
Hold it!
The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Gerdev told us he had been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. But I took his own to convince to say yes! It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you can't imagine it, yes. It was rather enjoying reading it. You're right. It was rather enjoying reading it. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man! I didn't remember! Stop slapping the poor man on the side. He needs to feed his wife and kids. At times like that, you can pick up, throw whatever you look at your hands. I just want you to know, well, I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much as the title of it.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I remember what it was. The memory I blocked out. Ah. It was listening to what Granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back. What are you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? This Mrs. Gerdev over the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time. I think he's used to it, yes. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I just earned that day. And I nearly died! There was a hole! Every last penny had dropped out! Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy! Oh no, this is bad. Oh? My wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. Oh, sweet God. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost a day's wages, love! I knew the blade was whistling past my ear, stuck in the wall next to me, about an inch deep. Oh! No words, just terror. Oh, sweet God. I could smell it then, you know, the god-awful stench of the flames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Oh. Oh. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. The women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. This really doesn't think over to so short-tempered and unrefined. No, throwing half a logic at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, use a bow or something like that. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, the man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll go back to that bow and arrow thing later. If I dare. A woman in a rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me. God damn. Oh my God, dude. Press number 2. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. A woman in rage will hurl almost anything at you. The kitchen knife really brought that home to me.
Objection!
Objection! I can't stop, bro! These two statements deeply because you have a good connection. Good grief, you mean they contradict each other, explain counsel at once. Trigger number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? Oh, sweet God. I'm sure that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Gerev's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have been found this way in the Gerev household to a street below. Eh? What now? After all, Mrs. Gerev could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanpole? Was that an insult? I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of the book came to light, perhaps she had a feeling that this might be what happened. Now you listen here, you Eastern Galach. The foreman of this jury demand a straight answer. We'll give you the object making his way to the house, but what was it? A knife. Of course, the weapon. They're taking a big gamble here. It's a bold accusation to make, but any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that the very least this warrants a further investigation. Alright, foreman, trying to explain the defense. Let's go check out the knife real quick. Oh! Ooh, the tip. Check out the knife. The tip is missing. Oh, look, it's just the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. This bottle was just I wonder what could have happened to it. Yes, you could have been lodged in the victim, did you? Oh dear, I hope not. It sounds terribly painful. The tip is missing. So it's just the tip. The tip is missing. It was found lodged in the victim's back. Therefore, we'll explain the defense answer. The other object that was found on the way to the Garrett household was the knife itself. It's a jackknife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett. What? Just what now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need to confirm something else in the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Good Lord, Consul, whatever are you doing? The weapon is lodged in the victim's back, man! Oh, sweet. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the furrows of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, who would have been backed up against the window. Oh, God. The window had been opened to clear the smoke, during which a book sailed at the land of the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that book was found in the victim's grasp! Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street landed nearly in her hands? Huh? Even my missus hadn't got a name like that. Yes, I admit it. There are many details we don't yet understand, but that's the point. The precisely why. Oh my goodness, please. Was allow the trial to not end. Not right now. Oh my. Ah! Mrs. Garrett, you answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, Fun! Yep, she fainted. My lord, I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just don't think it'd be right for this child to come to an end to answer questions. Mr. Foreman! I have to agree. Not that I think a granny didn't mind. Yes, you know what? I'm quite happy about this one later. All together now, ladies and gents. And the old man can't hear, so he didn't really bother. Wow! We did it? Oh, congratulations, Mr. Nadahodo. Oh my goodness. So as a result of the defense domination examination, a number of jurors have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against now for cognizant. Accordingly, the opinion score is divided. And this trial will continue. Oh, sweet God. Battle of the Carrot Apps. Now that Lord Van Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? Oh my God. Marital discourse. That's the entire case. Just throwing shit and then the knife ends up. The trial rapidly descending into a farce. God damn. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. Oh! But that follows is so repugnant. It's good for nothing to save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zieks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is it consider your opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's arguments is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself with the relative positions of the places being discussed. What do you mean by that? Like, what's this angle this time? It would be already more than apparent, but between the crime scene and Mr. Garrett household runs a rather wide street to Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrett's house to see his home is some 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards, around 14 meters. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined. And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted, having portentous significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. It's odd. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled at the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards. The land on the opposite side of the road, nearly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife fall in your identical trajectory to plunge in the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. That lady has bad luck, holy shit! God! Even these pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Ah! It's believable that the prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. It's pathetic serialized detective. Oh, there's nothing to say I can say to that. Miss Susato? Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he! Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for defense. Yes, go ahead. The prosecution may consider the idea of a fantasy, but what if the defense has the possibility of its belief enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning? And as such, the court is duty to explore its alternative explanation throughout possibly. It's possible. I can't read. To that end. Juror number 4, Mrs. John Garrison, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! Cross-examination of a juror! That's new. Order! Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for the member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection.
Oh my goodness. God damn it! And unnecessary. Lord Van Zeeks! Oh, there goes the wine bottle again. There are already witnesses to the stand whose testimony defense may further cross-examine. And my learned friend's practical theory was any truth in it. Then both a burning book and a jackknife must have been flown to the sky before the couple's eyes. And we must assume that they would be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses? Oh my god, please. Kill me. Yes, sir. Constable Raleigh Beat reporting for duty, sir. Oh, well. Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now. Sir, I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared in my beat, sir. Oh, they're so heroic, those London bodies. Battery! Patricia, my darling, I have been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Raleigh, my hero. You take me so soon. Oh my god, please. Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request. And order the witnesses stand to testify again. State forth with details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Yes, sir. Oh my god. Alright, let's see what we got, boys. Constable Beats report. This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett, and believe me, a London Bob is going his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of Garrett House are top hinge casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, it would have been seen it. I did leave the scene to go off and fetch help, but my trusty Raleigh there to make sure there's nothing disturbed. I didn't take my eye off of the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Well, this is quite startling. Top hinge casement windows. That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Ah, yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins of drowsiness every time, Constable. No, sir! Sorry, but... what exactly is a top hinge casement window? And you... cannot excuse your ignorance of such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry. I found it, Mr. Nadahodo. In case you're back at the windows of Mr. Meredith's house, cast your mind. Alright, I'll try. So the window opens in order to allow for visitors to look into his house. Oh, but the top hinge casement window, it swings open up at the other edge, you see. Oh, that kind of window. I'm glad you certified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature. It's its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents the opening. It prevents opening? That's all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or knife were to have been thrown through an open window, it would have fallen like this. It would have been boop, bloop. It would have clattered against the pane. Yeah, kind of against the pane and fallen straight down the pavement below. Yeah, like that. No. You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete. There were no possibilities of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. But wait, what if there's an alternate explanation? That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. So maybe we're discounted already. But wait, here's a possibility. What if, or here's a possibility, even though I already played this case before, but here's a possibility. What if, what if straight up, oh, I don't know. I know this may be a bit of a tough stretch, but what if straight up, like, Royally actually moved the entire scene over to the other side of the road? Moved the scene over to the other side. It was actually on that side originally, but then moved it to the other side of the road where it was found because, you know, fabricated the exact, like, no, fabricated basically by moving the entire crime scene to the other side of the road to make it look impossible. That's just my guess. Just a guess. That can't be! Did you see that, Raleigh? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw it. I just how cruel for me. Oh, Raleigh, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started cross-examination yet. My arguments have been destroyed. Counsel, you would drag yourself upright again. According to your cross-examination. My lord. Oh, God, in a desperate situation. Alright. Press statement 1. Are you sure about that? Let's press it. How can you say that for certain? A very good question, sir. And the answer is this. In that noble from visible force written, the reminder all policemen sworn duty. He should have said before, didn't he? Did he? Can't say I remember. The patrol of the streets of London town, uphold peace and common man. That's what the job's all about. And that's why I can't stand here beside my long-suffering wife until Bobby's good for his word, while rubbing my tired eyes admittedly, sigh. Oh, Raleigh, you're so manly. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett? Oh, I see, sir. You should have said it so earlier, sir. Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time, then. Absolutely, sir. Well, I answer the fullest of my ability, sir. That's the surprising reason for Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's domestic dispute can't relate to this case. But before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes? I very much like you all your countrymen to understand the great British institution Scotland Yard. Hope you take back some tales of London bobbies and uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So, to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you the warrant card of your pursual. I must warn you, won't be able to get through without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try. Constable Bates' warrant card. A small folding wall identifies London's bodies and contains rules of conduct which have been here. So let's check this out. Alright, we're gonna go and check this out real quick. Check this out. Item number 1. Policeman will strive to preserve the peace of his little beat. Item number 2. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around this beat every day in the furtherance of the community relations. As of Metropolitan Police Regulations. Item number 1. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of beat in which they are discovered. Oh boy. Hey, hold on. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. So wait. If it did happen on either side, when a crime is discovered on the beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Yeah, that's gonna be important, so we're gonna keep that in mind. We're gonna keep that in mind for later. Press statement number 2. By which you mean they don't fully open, is that correct? Yes, sir. They're just there to allow a bit of air to the house, you see. It's restricted how much they open. Then why they even a window in the first place? And fair for anything thrown out the window inside the room, it would simply strike the panel or fall to the street directly below. For clarify, allow me to mark the map. But wait. Here is the location it would have to have fallen. And the body was found on the other side of the road. So it would make more sense if directly opposite the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road. But hold on, the scene of the crime was, if the scene of the crime was moved, then yeah, the scene of the crime must have been moved most likely. I mean, it would have made more sense, right? Would have been so hard for anybody to just mention the top page castle before. Fuck. Well, I have another question for you, Constable. And what would that be, Sa? I don't even know. Why would any idea of sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's house are furnished with? Ah, well, Sa, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Hey, Mrs. B. Do you have something to say, Mrs. B? Sorry. You look delighted. Some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering. That's all. We really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky that it happened to Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Yeah, right, there's a red flag! Oh, I hadn't realized. It technically happened on his beat if you want to get technical. Or it's the street Briar Rose, the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Break up! Constable beat! Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants in the Garrett household yesterday. Their house is on my beat, you see, Sa. Really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you can clarify something. If the Garrett household is in your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it as well? Outside Mr. Garrett's house? Yes, ma'am. It's pavement outside of the road, part of my beat. I see, I was unaware of that. That's very important. I just think if the woman was being attacked just the other side of Briar Road, we would have never been able to go to the meal celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby after all. Extraordinary people are Bobbies tirelessly working for the benefit of our listeners. Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all the hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think for Pat to make sure we have information officially on the record. I'll take it immediately. The case files information is updated. The pavement where the victim was found lies outside Constable Beat's beat, the border of which runs down the middle of Briar Road. Right now it's our turn, I think. So let's go ahead and press statement 5. Press all the remaining statements.
Hold it.
But according to the notes, the sun had gone down already and it was dark. Oh, but Rolly and I were strolling along gazing at the night sky and our lucky star. Sorry? The star guide is internal happiness. Can't the guide us answer the question? It was planned and the book had cut the car in front of us. It would have lit up like a shooting star. And if it said a shooting star, it would have made a wish upon it. Like Rolly being a specter, I would have said 3 times at least. Of course, with the smog and everything, we can't actually see any stars. Sure, you're trying to send you to book nor a knife across the sky before you. Yes, sir, that's correct, sir. That shows night sky in London style, sir. That's kind of grim. It sure seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we tried to help her.
Hold it.
Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box and fetched another officer, is that right? That's right, yes. If I had been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. I don't feel bad, my love. I can't expect to know the location of every police box in every beat. So Rolly told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost in the way. Patricia, my darling, it's that way I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is keep pushing to me! What? Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly! Oh, please! So I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, Rolly was just the whole time. She was disturbed. Oh my. No! Don't take Mario! Don't take my boy, he's not trash. There's literally no trash can there. Yeah.
You had a panic.
Hold it! A little. Okay. I just didn't want. Yeah, I know. Close the door. That's correct, sir. I had my eyes open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene. Nothing moved from it. I can swear on that yard's honest, sir. Oh, boy. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me. The burnt copy of the lion's part was originally in the Garrett household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Yeah. Can you shed any light on it, seeing how you were in the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? Or just happened to burnt as well? No. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping the book like that in her hand? As you see from the photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. That's true. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something in the statement is not sitting right with me. The two sisters ended up in her bag and the book ended up in her hand. There must be a common thread between them. Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir. Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really... I mean, what's she doing? Please, because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony less valuable. That's not what it is. You might have seen my wife as a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, will you let me speak, won't you? Yes, Miss B. I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you desire. Sometimes a path of least resistance is a sage one. That was a very loud mutter. I heard that! The Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I'll let you get away with something like that. But I probably won't. Duly noted, Mrs. B. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly just say, I wonder? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
Mrs. B, nobody's questioning what you told us. I saw I did that evening. I saw it clearly. A little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back slinking away in steam. And I know that I didn't see it, so... Didn't see any flying books or knives flying through the sky! All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh, yes, well, this is a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made him my great sweet Raleigh. He never gets so cross. He never gets so cross. Well, what's wrong?
Excuse me!
Excuse me? What's wrong, Raleigh? Tell me. Constable B, is there a problem? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? What, sir? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. You may miss your way on the night of the incident. Well, you see, I sent her off to the police box the next beat over mine, but she was gone far a bit longer than I was expecting. And my battery. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone for a good 15. Oh, Raleigh, you're such a tease. It's because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Raleigh's so romantic. He saved up for the farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. I forgot all about it until just now. Had you, my darling? Ah! Yes. But that was just between us. Not talking about it with anyone else, darling. You have to promise. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable B looked so obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any reveals insight. Hold on. That was odd. So, well, that must be about the bouquet. Ask a bit about it. Mrs. B, bouquet as you mentioned. I'd like you to add details to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to. This is odd. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Let's press that new statement.
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over, I saw this woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Raleigh gave me. It was a dark spot where the street lights weren't casting any lights. I didn't notice it at first. And you went to the police box to report to the policeman who beat us on it. Yes, and I came back to see it together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. The funny thing is when I picked it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. Interesting. So my little theory about the crime to be moved is correct in a sense. In case you need reminding, Mrs. B, the victim is not deceased. It was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling on the other side of the road. Your husband, precisely. That's right, silly me. I got over the wrong side of the street. Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I don't think it's got there. I really can't. So okay, someone moved from the other side of one bribe road to the opposite. Oh! Curious indeed. So that's only remains of the scene. Isn't that what the worst is? I forgot to pick up the bouquet again and left it at the scene. The beautiful rose will change the gutter spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry solitary rose? Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Rolly brought for your anniversary. Little bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose. That's not a bouquet. Tell us more, Van Siegs. Where did you come to that flower? According to the report by a police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found by the edge of the pavement in front of the Gyarados household. In front of the Gyarados house? Although it wasn't noticed this morning, it was laying where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of the field. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Can I have it back now, please? No, I think for good measure, the rose could be added as court record evidence. Oh. But it's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? Good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best to forget Mrs. B. Oh my gosh, she's insane. I didn't make her eyes at the crime scene for a moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on the front, sir. That is a sorry excuse of a bouquet. That is a sorry fucking excuse of a bouquet, dude. That is... English rose. Such a beautiful flower. Roses, I've never seen one before. Do you not take interest in flowers from total? I wouldn't know exactly what those types like. Gosh, 3? Yes, plume blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching off as fruit tree base, for example. That's a sorry excuse of it. Look, it's tied to a lake. Oh my god. It's very stylish paper for after rap. It's newspaper. That's just old newspaper. Oh, suppose another thing who uses prints inside for me. Ah, I see. Something wrong? Oh, no. It's just something about you wrap this stone baked sweet potato in English newspaper. It might look like some fancy cake. Asses of the sun. Cakes. Oh my god. Why is it just... I don't know, dude. I didn't take my eye off of the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing changed to report in the front, sir. He says it's nothing changed. But what about the bouquet? But the whole scene changed. You think about it. Here's the thing. What if her sense of direction isn't actually wrong? What if the bouquet actually ended up on the right side of the street and the crime scene was actually on the other side of the street? Objection! Did you move the entire crime scene? You claim Constable beat there was nothing to report in 15 or so minutes regarding the scene. But that cannot be! What? What do you mean to say? He lying. Just somebody just now, Mrs. Beat. You explained to the court. Oh my goodness. And that when you arrived back to the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned the beat, the bouquet you had dropped in the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road where the victim was attacked. But that, what if it wasn't? But considering the size of the mega bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be described, no doubt it was blown into the wind across the street, back to the gutter where it belongs. Meg.
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did the constable beat not testify to that fact? True. No one else approached the scene, and nothing was removed from it. Constable B swore to that Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It had nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. He looked kind of troubled when it was mentioned. Because sadly it was not your bouquet we're talking about. It's more like just a single rose covered in newspaper. More than one thing, the case was seriously the wrong way around, though. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. B bouquet, there's Mr. Gyarados' book. Mr. Gyarados' copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out the window of his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it ended up on the other side of the street. It was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Oh my god. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. B's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street, but in fact, was over here. It was actually found on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mr. Gyarados' house. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. Ooh. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Rolly said something wrong. Doesn't listen to the word a scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about the books and bouquets. What should I care? Nitpick's what it is. Good, Mr. Garrett's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garrett, but deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Miss Naruto. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection.
Tampering. You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend. Who would possibly have a cause to carry us an elaborate deception? Yes, there's someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. It was Rolly, obviously. All the evidence of the testimony pointed to one particular person. Counsel must consider himself to the conjecture. Who you say responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? So it was definitely Raleigh beat. It was him.
Take that.
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Raleigh beat. It was you. What? A policeman? A number of... What nonsense? Why would I really do something like that? Battery. There's no straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more ties than the people of London. Mrs. Beat. You said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. In 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene, there's only opportunity to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about the Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it. Bro, no. If that was true, Constable B would have seen him do it. Forgive me for pointing it out, but when you trial came, Mrs. B, it was after the defendant has fled the scene. Well...
Objection.
First you make the accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim that the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason anyone could commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. That's right, he's right. But my husband just happened to be there, that's all. Why would I have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. You've offered no motive. Your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat has very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime, and that's the key to the entire affair. Have you managed to solve this mystery? Mario, come here, boy. Counsel, you have a very serious accusation against a London police officer. Oh my god. If you're mistaken, I'm sure your point of the reputation of the lawyer will be irreparably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will explain to court the motive of alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Here we go. Constable Beast's motive of tampering with the scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the victim fell on the ground. That is his Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? The wrong side. It was right there if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, it isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? I'm beginning to wonder where the term until his trial will end, counsel. If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. That's the left side. Where the proposing crime actually took place.
Take that.
Right here. But that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garrett's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious! Oh, yeah, we're getting it down, though. Perhaps you haven't been listening to an ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. They did, but on the wrong side of the street. That's what I saw with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the grounds. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid. That was actually the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged you to absent for a while, sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. to the other side. He moved all the things shown in the print, the victim herself, and 4 books. He moved everything in fact, the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing. What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume. Exactly. I just said that. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until this morning, as the layers for the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't have been seen in the dark, obviously. Which is why it was only in the bouquet. That was found in the original position, on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory on what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Royally Beat. Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again. I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Raleigh. It isn't true, is it? The lawyer said it's all lies, is it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. What? Only it seems... it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly! Oh, god damn. Order! What on earth is the meaning of all of this? Oh, Raleigh, why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? It's not a corpse, it's unconscious. Wishing the victim dead should be one, too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. What? I have a possible explanation. The pay. For why, on a particular evening, Constable Beef felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. The anniversary. I can think of one reason. The wedding anniversary. What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zeeks is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. Battery, no time. I believe it would have been beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think I better show some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan. It makes no difference where you are from, but human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive to Constable B's unthinkable actions? Either the warrant card or the anniversary bouquet. It doesn't really matter which one, but you could pick either one. Because remember what it says here is that he has to... is this. When a crime is discovered on this beat, a policeman must assist in initial investigations and help detectives. Right? But he didn't want to help. He didn't want to do that because of the anniversary. So it's either the warrant card or the rose. Doesn't matter, but they both work anyway. Let's go with the warrant card. Doesn't matter. I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called Bobby is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking at citizens in all beats kind of ways. There's no doubt the young Bobby's in charge of all the great deal each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? And according to this bouquet, my lord, or just Singora's. Oh yes, it was our first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford a simple gift for his wife, and was looking so forward to taking her out with a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon the crime along Briar Road. It was on his road when he saw the shadowy figure through the fog and collapsed the pavement ahead of him. It was gone through the man's mind. But sir, the day I was looking forward to celebrate my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up a lot of being married to a Bobby like me. I want to show my dear wife how much I care. Mario, come here. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist in initial investigations to help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Hi, Mario. Is that, or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said. It's alright. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh! Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred in the Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done? It was the first time since I became a corporal that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be looking around somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report the station as quickly as possible. But then, it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what it meant for me. When a crime was discovered on this beat, a policeman was assist with the initial investigation and help detectives. Why here? Why did it have to happen here? Oh God, and why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. And it was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. You'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Manchester Street and then... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted that one night to take my Patricia out to dinner. Oh, Raleigh. Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. That across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon? Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would never have left the poor woman in freezing cold pavement. How the fuck did he move that big-ass body, though? I'm just wondering. His big body. I see your meaning now. But God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Raleigh, that was all my fault. I should have never dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Raleigh. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side to the road to the other in total? 4 it was. Yes, sir. Definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When we first ran over the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. Oh, you're sure it was this book, the Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. The 4th book. Okay, it was updated. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only two people at the scene. Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who done it. I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over to the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it. My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zieks. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir! Mr. Prosecutor, sir, what will become of my Raleigh? What will happen to him? For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however significant it may seem to you. Yes, sir. Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Never again, sir. You mean to say? Leave now. This trial's not yet over. Sir! Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of the third party transplanting the entire scene of the crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here, principally that the accused, Mr. Seki Natsume, the only person who could have possibly committed this crime. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there's someone else. Another person could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution's probably already well aware of the possibility already. Lord Van Zieks, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. You'll name the other person who could have been perpetuated the crime. Joan Garrett. Because she threw everything. The defense would once again like to request a cross-examination of the new witness, my lord. Once again. My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garrett. Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection.
That request has already been denied. But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Garrett, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garrett. And of course, in the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened the window that looks over the Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband, which he cornered his back against the window. Up striking the pane in the open hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what is now we know is the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what's of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could to lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garrett. This knife, though once removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes upon it before? Oh! I don't recall it. Seriously? I'm supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there is all the regalia and numbers of juries and testified, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. Oh! Make no mistake, your jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. Oh, I love you. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. Damn, I love you, Van Zeeks. I freaking love you. God, I love you. But it's just common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. It's a jackknife. Several like that at home. If it were missing, they would have expected me to. How would you expect me to know? What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Garrett. Are you lying? Now, you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought of injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. The poor woman. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see evidence of your system being my fault. If you're going to prove it through a knife of your faith, come along now. Chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it right at her already. Then take the stand, juror. Oh, do it! This prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. I love you, bro. I love you. I'm gonna have to testify? Yes! Testify, woman! Juror number 4, as I'm sure you're... I appreciate that observant of your lives today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which a witness himself may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand you fully unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrett, and mark my words in the court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Alright, witness, state your name and occupation. Oh, yes, my name is Joan Garrett, and I'm, I'm juror and such like. It sounds so even she doesn't even know she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore. The court has decided your testimony is required to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madam? Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household the evening in question. Whew. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth. Oh, dearie me. Chin up, Joni. Nothing to worry about. Oh, I didn't know you were here, John. Oh, he was here. Wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't you worry about that. Hardly notice it. Oh, sort of chap to leave a comrade face its reaction alone. Oh, John. I presume you were Mr. John Garrett? Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. Received a fair share of action, now living a quiet life, as it were. The quiet life? You were not engaged in a serious battle with your spouse in a day in question. Well, yes, quite. Bro, I believe this may represent the first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You can clearly reconsider the events of your home in question. Sir, at once! The Battle of Garrett! Oh, that's a good one, I love that. Yes, on the day you're referring to, my wife and I did have a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall it now. I knocked a candlestick over and set fire to carpet. Soon I had it though. I got a window open. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find to throw at him. Plenty of knives around the place. Can't say I've noticed there 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. And that bally thing in the victim's back really was one of ours, so we had the job proving it, I think. It sounds as though it was quite a battlefield in your household that evening. Although it was highly one-sided assault, it seems. Yep. The enemy caught us in the hoop, sir. I had no choice but to dig in to take defensive measures. To be honest, if an enemy had kept shelling us another minute, I'd been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself, I'm only too unaware that every battlefield your mustard gets whisker from death at any moment. Are you still talking about a marital quarrel here? Well, I must say it dubious the testimony of a shiny landlords and a jackknife. In combats, one focuses narrows and strings that are barely noticed. These witnesses been able to offer anything you testify already been dead end. Van Six may well be right. Well, what are our chances? We only have this last examination to cover the truth, Mr. Hold on. Yes, I'm afraid so. Let's go! Very well, counsel. Begin your cross-examination. Mario! Come here, little bitch. Aw, it's my baby. Let's press statement number 3. 2, 3. Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find and throw at him.
Hold it!
Even though the room was on fire, as far as I was concerned at the time, it was more important to extinguish my anger than the flames. What a woman wants to throw, she must throw! This is most certainly not true of the sister will take damage to Naruhodo. How did she know what I was thinking? So please cast your mind back to it, try to remember. Was a knife among the items you threw at your husband on that day? Honestly, if honestly I don't recall. But I feel I must point out, I'm not a monster! Let me see. Some bread, cabbage, garlic, towel, and a spoon. And a sponge and napkin.
Excuse me.
Excuse me? Excuse me, sir? Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Garrett! Don't shoot! Sorry, I beg your pardon. Did your wife's remark now just bring something to mind? Nothing of any significance, no. It's just that a barrage of projectiles, the old thing, launched in my direction. Was something more solid than she implies. Books, bricks, and the fire poker, I seem to recall. Oh, a fire poker? Oh no. Ouch. Yeah, my same expression. And the woman aim is uncanny. She landed directly with every volley. Yeah! Good grief, woman, we're not at home now. This is a court of law. Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear. What's she even doing with a teapot in here? I don't even know. Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously. Well, take a look at this, then. How do you suppose that happened? Your pipe, sir. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean with a soft projectile she did. So what? And when I went to pick the thing up, it was broken into like a bunch of sort of damage. I see, your pipe is broken. It would never have been sent flying unless it hit something pretty solid. Your arm is burnt, your hand is burnt to a crisp, and I managed to bandage the thing up for now. You are one to exaggerate, aren't you, dear? Marital discourse is so bad, goddamn. This could be important. I have a feeling. The defense believes that Mr. Garrett's remarks are significant. This war with veterans' words only tells one thing. Betray a fiery woman, a fiery wife, and pipes as well as hearts may be broken. Sentimental wisdom, perhaps, but hardly worth adding to the formal testimony. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? In that case, would you at least permit us to examine the pipe, sir? Well, I don't say why not. Oh, dearie me, there you go again, trying to gird yourself with a young lady. Very well, the court will believe gentleman's pipe as evidence. Alright, we're gonna check this out. I hope he didn't speak on a turn. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the pipe. And look what we got in here. Woohoo! Yep. Oh, something twinkled inside the chamber back there. Yeah, I saw it. Something stuck in there and think, let's turn it over and shoot shake. What's this? A tiny fragment of metal. It is tip of the blade or something. Tip of the blade. Surely it couldn't be. Yep. And then, yeah, the bandage. Oh, poor dude. Looks like it's just a bandage on, doesn't it? For some reason, I find it ominous to me. Should have warning. Probably because it's blue as Mr. Garrett's dressing gown. As well as mostly because of the sentimental value Mr. Garrett given the gone trouble preparing it like this. Either that, or he can't afford to replace it. That's true. Hell, there's even a crack right here. Let's either one or that. And let's go ahead and check this metal fragment out. This is a piece of Garrett's pipe. It looks like a tip of a blade. Tip of a blade. Something wrong with it? I don't really know. There's just something nagging me very fast in that case. It would examine the others. So let's go ahead and check out the jackknife. Open it up. There you go. And the tip. See, I was missing a tip. Oh, look here, Mr. Just a tip. Small piece will be missing. Wait, part of it's missing. It could be wrong, but it's feeling. You remember this? Ah, that's the tiny fragment found inside Mr. Garrett's pipe. Yes, just maybe. Oh my, it's a perfect fit. Somehow, I just knew it. So now, we know. There we go. I was feeling rather disappointed that your request was turned down. Oh no, it's fine. Thanks to Smith, the some evidence was very carefully. Mr. Garrett, looking at the facts of the matter. We're going to tell the court used the victim, knife the victim. Now it's time to put everything together. Now let's go back to statement 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If that bodily thing at the victim's back was really one of them, you're probably job proving it, I think. So let's go ahead and present the jackknife. Present the metal fragment. And then the jackknife.
Objection.
Here we go. Objection. Mr. Garrett, could I ask you to take a good look at this place? Can you ask me if it was a Bali thing? You can't. You used to call it Dead-Eye Dead back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago now. Even when I'm trying to large print book into my phone these days. I struggle to see a B from a D to the P to the Q, to be honest. Oh, he does. Dear me, I read a wearing bing. I'll skip every letter, every word. You must be very dusy. Dusy! What is that thing? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, it's almost nearly from the tip of a blade. And what may appear to be a tiny scrap is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Garrett's pipe. My pipe, you say? By Jove, I wonder how that got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, counsel? It's suggesting in some way related to the matter of the stabbing in Briar Road. Battery, shut up. I am. What? When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. Look at his butt is burnt! It's burnt butt! You appear rather confident in the extraordinary statement, counsel. Very well, then. Present the preemptive evidence to the court. What evidence you appear as a metal fragment is allegedly reveals the truth of our case. Jackknife! This is a knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you'll see there's a small piece of the tip of the blade that is missing. A common issue with the inferior blade sold in savory sweet markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave the tips lodged in the victim's bones. And with a particular knife, no doubt the tip has suffered a similar fate to you lashing somewhere near the spine of the victim. Oddly, no. No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is very fragmented, discovered in the chamber of Mr. Garrett's pipe. Ugh! Good grief, Lord Van Zeeks. I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match. Good golly gosh. Oh, no. Order. Is this some sort of Eastern sorcery? This is no match, my lord. This is a miracle. A miracle. So Van Zeeks has figured it out, has he? Counsel, explain the extraordinary coincidence at once. Yes, my lord. The crucial point you have to ask yourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Garrett's pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness testimony. Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles. She did, yes! It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh! Oh, dearie me. During the argument between these two that occurred, which is the victim was the payment below. Mrs. Garrett flung the knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Mr. Garrett instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time. Which caused the tip of the break off, of course. Good lord! Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Garrett's pipe. The chances of that are a million to one. And yet, there's no other credible explanation for that how the tip of the blade ended up on your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garrett's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back and street below. Oh gosh, oh dear, oh no! I love that she needs to stand because she's so short. Oh, there's the wine. Oh. Oh god. A full-bodied theory. I'll give you that. A complex bouquet, seemingly trivial points, plausibly arguing into almost a passable vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after it all, it was just a fury. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because, you see, the leg! It's spoiled by the instrumentable inconsistency. An instrumentable... What?! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself. As inconsistency you claim to have identified. Inconsistency is simple as nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. There could be a good explanation for this. Yes, in her... Ah! Slap! That's right, you little man. Now, Joan Oldvang, what are you getting so excited about? Let's consider the basic facts of the case once more. The victim was walking along the pavement beam before being stabbed in the back and fell into the ground. If the knife that struck her was fallen from above, it would have hurt her eye or her face. It would have possibly could have planted itself in the victim's back. Yeah! Actually, there's a very good explanation for this. The book! Odd! Odd! You're quite right, you see, that's exactly right. If the knife had fallen from above, it would have struck her in the top of her head. Or her eye. Well, He's lost for words, look. I knew it. I never liked his fear in the first place. I don't know what it really happened. It appeared the defense's rider makes spectacular blunder. Fears of consistency cannot stand. You're the fear of my learned friend. It's history. But wait, there is one major thing that solidifies this entire thing. You're so close. I could see the truth. You're so sure I could see the track. But now the way to block and play is a simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate the inconsistency and theory will stand. Mr. Sato? You mustn't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. You were just caught off guard, that's all. Your mind went blank. But if the Kashi were indeed correct, it will clear himself. And the key is the court record and confirmation you need. It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. I test you accepted and the theory is blatantly flawed. Actually?
Objection!
Objection, boys! Woo! This inconsistency doesn't matter if I was wrong track. It means for I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test! Yes! The knife found the victim's back. There was no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Consul? There's a piece of evidence in the courtroom that explains this inconsistency, that can explain how the knife that fell from above and appears to the victim's back. We already have that answer. Goodness! Utter madness! Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence that you speak. I have it alright. I have it right here. This is the last inconsistency, the final piece of the puzzle. If I can successfully make sense, it will truthfully lay bare at last. Battery! The evidence explains the falling knife became lodged in the victim's back is...
Take that!
The book! This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. Burnt book. Is that not Mr. Gyarados' book? Yes, and to understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be in the scene in the first place. The photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all know now, it was the police constable who put the book between her fingers like that. Quite so, it was part of his wholesale transplanting the crime scene opposite side of the road. That's true, however. He did say, as part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement at this point. That it was already in there, it was already in her hands. But when it made a place of book in the victim's hand. Oh, well, that's because it's how I found it. Then I ran over the scene. The victim was already holding that book. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. In other words, the victim's already picked up the book in her own violation. It clearly must have been before she suffered a knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd be doing so much of anything. So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand? By Jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened. Oh dear me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Gyarados household to the pavement below. And precisely at the moment, the victim was walking past. Yes, it was just a huge coincidence. Just a huge bad coincidence. Exactly at the moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the fog. When all of a sudden, a book fell in front of her. The book I threw. Yes, Miss Gyarados. And what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you in the pavement? I really can't imagine it. But I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up. Exactly! Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did, and she picked up the book. Oh! Oh, heavens! And when the woman reached out to pick up the fallen book, oh my god, what position would her back be in? Bent! That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, the knife! But the woman was still bent to pick up the book. Bonk! Bro! And the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife straight in the middle of her back. Oh, sweet God! And at the same time, walking by chance directly behind the screen, was the defendant, Mr. Sasatsume. Well, I never! And apparently Mr. Natsume, to be to Mr. Natsume, that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark of the fog, he didn't see the knife falling from above. Ah! And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there was never a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Yo. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett. This happens when you have marital fights. The very first time you showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that. There were old Bean. Poor Mrs. Garrett. Of course, I never meant for any of the sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it? I took full responsibility. I left my anger to get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw the knife as well. John, dear. It's alright. I know. Oh God, I'm ever so sorry. I'm sorry! Oh! Bro. Up. Bro. Lord Van Zeeks, what news? I was scared of. She's been taken to the infirmary. It would appear today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe we'll recover due course. There's no concern. Yes, unbeknownst to themselves, their cause would have easily been a terrible tragedy. They should have prepared themselves for consequences of their actions. There is some good news, however, my lord. I've just had word in the hospital where the victim has been treated. Her condition is improving steadily, so the doctor believes she will get consciousness soon. Ah! It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time, but we never once met her. How wonderful. The woman's out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news. So, Mr. Soke Natsume? Yes! On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take an opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our British culture, and have been repaid with measurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it's me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the young woman was collapsed in the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beat said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. Suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived at Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there's evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Suzuki-san, his imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should have never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help, for a doctor, for the police. Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between two empires, and for that, I'm truly sorry. I love how Mr. Garrett took the place of he took her place. I love that. But can indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been work here, I think. That created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, the chain has not been broken and the spirit exercised. I have hereby commend you both. Oh! Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. And with completed trial, must have last decision regarding the defense culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As foreman of this jury, I can assure you we've reached a final conclusion. I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I didn't expect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting it for old Bean while she's out of action, you know, but I know her decision would be. Well, this is me, and I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work. Well, about time. I say, I have a crocker of a story to tell the grandchildren when I get home, won't I? Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I hereby demand your final decisions. Mr. Foreman?
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
We did it! Woo! We did it. Battery! Very well, Mr. Slucky Natsume, I hereby pronounce you. Hey! Not guilty! Yay! No, that's a celebration. Hell yeah, we did it. And then we have the final case in the next episode. We're going to start the final case in the next episode, which is a long one, by the way. It's a long one. And I mean it. And I actually mean it this time. So, yeah. And finally, Mr. Natsume. Oh, yes, Lord, sir. You are now a free man once more, and I hope that you will continue for education in British culture, and you may never again be brought before me. Oh, yes, sir, of course. Oh, my life. Oh, I swear I'll never step foot in this courtroom again. I transported to... Cheers! Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned. Alrighty. Oh, look up. Wait, you mean me? Of course. Is there a locum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original locum student, Mr. Nettlehood Esquire name has become rather short, hasn't it? What's wrong with us using the actual name? Oh, my battery! I knew it! I freaking knew it, bro. There we go. We got it. Lost I'm free, we got it. Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation. Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah! Oh, I'm so pleased. Mr. Natsume is delighted. Would it be so hard to say to them, look, you did it. You saved me from the brink. Well, what happened to that poor woman was no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that. Lovely, loyal, locum lawyer. Yes. I mean, as I said before, just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Ever since I took a look over my shoulder, I see foreigners, I see towering brick buildings, and from high up windows I see them looking down at me laughing. Look at that little hunchback. Oh dear, I'm sure your head is meant to me. But today, you locum lawyer gave me the gloom to boot. You stood firm behind the bar's no bench before all this babbling British. You battled to the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth. And when I beheld the bidding fireworks among the beams of the Bailey's roof, I bellowed, behold, the best barrister ever born! Well, that's very flattering. I'm really very pleased for you. This has given me the wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Oh, that's a good one. Ah, there you are, my dear fellows. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I was late this morning. Oh, hi, Mr. Sholmes. What a pleasure to see you. I see you here in a moment too soon. It's a disaster for the bird, I'm glad to say. Oh? The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Nelhood. Wish you very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No! The haste was in vain? Yeah, it's you! Herlock Sholmes! Oh, yes, sir. This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. I failed to recognize you at first. Previous encounters had taken place in the gloom. Neither of your bleak lodgings or prison cell. I simply couldn't place a curious face. In the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes, and the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you I have placed you now. You're the fellow who had abandoned the poor young lady and ran off, you know. She was taken to hospital emergency. I feel that perhaps she would have gained consciousness by now. Oh! But it was unavailable, I'm sure. But we are but human after all. If anyone who has shaken this experience. I do feel very badly about the way I behaved. Oh, never mind now then. Was your one to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless. Oh, I'm sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Poor Soseki-san. Still, on the bright side, you had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny, and it would seem you're not even found guilty. But there is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Ever after this, I'm still cursed by the spirits and not by the Reaper! Lord Van Zooks. I have forgotten you know what facing the man in court means. Even if you're found not guilty, you're still doomed! It'll be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears truly trying to make you trouble, I will protect you. Hiya! With a perfectly executed successful takedown. Much as I like being turned on my head, a bit of a warning might be nice next time, Miss Susato. So, Mr. Natsume, you mentioned something about recounting your experience with your friends back in Japan? Yes, I intend to return to my homeland soon. Oh! It has already been a year since I arrived here in Great Britain. I've visited every universities, libraries, bookshops. I've been honored to attention to the professors. I've learned so much about the wealth of literature here in the city has shaped. So we come to realize that I'm calling Sail Hall and fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or, in perhaps in less veiled terms, you wish to withdraw half of the world and escape the terror of Reaper's curse. That's not it at all! The more I learned of literature, the more a strange feeling claws its eyes. I feel compelled to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. A work of literature by Soseki-san. That could be interesting to read. And what about Mrs. yourself, Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside your mustache compatriot? Why would we? Oh wait, because now you passed since we arrived in London. And now it does feel like we finally found our feet. And your accommodation hotel is present, are you not? That's right, but we can find lunch before it bankrupts us. I calculated we can only afford about 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you can take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? Ah, but with the lack in windows, more wakes like a floor and ceiling and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Oh, my, an evil spirit? Oh, yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's a valuable wake-up call. Well, think about it. It's alright. Perhaps I can afford a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Well, the vacancy has conveniently presented itself, though it's up to attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady the very morning of the matter in price, and it needs cleaning rooms this week. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak. Oh, simply wonderful. What an honor to invite you to take lunches with the great detective's office attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere else then. And it's settled. Edith will prepare a welcome dinner in the evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume, I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you and yes. Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for your formal release, Mr. Natsume. This shouldn't take long. Somebody's happy. Welcome. I knew that you would let me down. I'm truly delighted to have you been here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you two. It's a shame that we were going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize I belong to Japan, but welcome, we'll meet again one day. Yes, I'm sure. But hopefully by then, I'll be successful there. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful offer. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. A little doubts Mr. Natsume will be released in time for dinner this evening. And so, Vessel Heki-san's innocence successfully established. We rode with Mr. Sholmes and what was to become our new home, 221B Baker Street. The attic room. So this is to be our office, yes. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I like to think we're getting a little closer to your dream now. So my dear fellows, do you like the place? Ah, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, thank you so much. It's a delight of a room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good. We're pleased to hear it. Edie's and I are delighted to welcome you. I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. Oh, yes, Mr. Natsume arrives. Yes, that's... Edie, you must help. Let me help you. Alright then, Susie. I'll have you in charge of the salad. Splendid. So, Mr. Naruhodo, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office in these premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place, full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies beneath London's facade already. Yes, kind of. So once again, Mr. Naruhodo, welcome to London. Of course. At the time, I had no idea what the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke, but it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Alright, so that's the end of this case. So I'm gonna end it right around here. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't comment, subscribe, whatever the fuck. And next time, we're gonna go ahead and start the final case. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story, Episode 5. So this one is a long one. This one's pretty long. This one's a full case. It's super fucking long. It has a long investigation and long trial, so we're gonna be here for a while. So yeah, I'll split into a few episodes. So see you guys then. Bye.